Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Kirby's Adventure. Last time we've finally finished the story intro, started level 4, so the fourth word, and so today we'll continue with that. Since we have finally finished all the intros and we don't have kanji to study for now, we can immediately start the game this time. As I mentioned, the further we progress, the less writings in game and also kanji to study we have, and so it will be faster going forward. Okay, without further ado, let's start. Okay. And the game itself. We skip the intro. Our percentage is not high enough to have a new title. And so we can immediately start our file. Level 4, Grape Garden. Already seen the intro. Yeah, we only tackled one stage last time, but also the minigame, and we play it again quickly. Green Fever. We already got. We already read the description and so on. The first time played it. Let's see. Okay, barely got the big Kirby doll, which you want to get immediately, to then try to get the second one. Okay, let's see if it's perfect. Okay. See if everything is as intended. Okay. Okay, so we can start actually playing the game with stage 2, part of course of the minigame we have just played. We're on a castle. Get an ability like a spark, but we have already checked the description. I just quickly show it in case you want to stop and check it. These enemies, but funny enough, one fell in the water on its own. Okay, here we can destroy by spouting water upwards. Let's see. Okay, we have 2 doors. We'll check this one, which was covered by blocks first. Good thing we did is that there's a tomato here. Well, we lost our ability, but oh well. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, going there for the healing item when we are at full health is not the best idea. I'll get needle. Also following the theme of this. Oops. Never mind, we'll get spark instead. The theme of. Okay. No, apparently neither. Okay, no, we'll actually get spark, and honestly, it's easier. We can avoid it. Seemingly I want to stick to those spikes. Yeah, with such wealth. Doing this. Well, of course, if we defeat one, then we can use Crash. First Crash. Then we get it again. We have already seen Crash before. So, I'll just show it quickly. And we actually have another one in reserve. And the stage is finished. I wonder if we missed something and so it's not completed. In that case, we'll go back right into it and try to complete it this time. My guess would be going to the door at the top, but nope. The level is completed. As you can see, the door changed the color. Okay, we have another minigame, we'll try it. Quick draw Kirby in Japanese, quick draw and that's it in English. Already seen it, and so we'll just try it. Yeah, too slow. Got distracted. Just a second. Yeah, this is much better and more what I'm used to get. Of course, we actually want to get much better to actually win. Okay, at least we got bunkers. Yeah, it will be difficult. Yeah. Only by anticipating it, I would have defeated DDD. But at least by defeating bunkers, we got one up. Okay, so we can try stage 3. Okay. Unfortunately, we have to give up Crash already because we want to get fire to use the cannon. Okay. So let's do that. This is clearly the tutorial, quite an easy cannon. As you can see, even if you go into it, it doesn't get faster. That's only in newer Kirby games. As I wish I remembered when I played Forgotten Land, but unfortunately I didn't, and so I struggled at a certain challenge, I'll just say that. By the way, of course, we'll eventually play also Forgotten Land, but being the most recent mainline Kirby game, yeah, it might be a while before we play it for the channel. Okay, actually, I think I kind of remember this thing. I think there is... not here. Not here. I think there's a hidden door somewhere. Unless I'm misremembering and or guessing wrong. But we honestly don't need the tomato. We have a cutter, which we also got before. So we don't need to check it. Let's see. Okay, there's this door, but... okay, we'll actually check it since I feel that the way forward is after this. Or maybe I missed it again. After there would be the secret required for completion, and I simply missed it. Wonder why we got high jump there. Well, maybe just as an ability. But let's avoid getting hit by Crash. Yeah, I feel that we might have missed a secret. Let's see. Okay. Everything seems to be fine. We would have a laser there. We don't need it. We have finished the stage, but this one I feel might have a secret. Also judging by the world map. Yeah, as you can see, there's not only there's the door didn't change color, but there's also this part that didn't get that's still covered. So we'll play it again and try to find this secret. Well, we technically don't need that, but we'll take the free one up anyway. Not that we particularly need them, but you never know. Funny enough, it isn't here. I guess they don't come back unless you've turned off the game, maybe. Actually try to go. We have to be careful, also considering our health. So not these. Ah yes, this door should be it. Also got. And funny enough, here is the button. I wonder if you can press it. And it unlocks, we unlocked a museum. And then you can leave the stage immediately. We'll test it. Yep, you can do that, so good to know for the future. I didn't remember it. You can enter, push the button to unlock the secret. And yeah, the level gets completed even if you don't get to the end again. Convenient. Again, the museum, we've already seen this. Okay, what we haven't seen, on the other hand, we have seen sleep. Unfortunately, useless, but I just quickly show the description. The animation. Yeah, in this case, not only because we are at full health, but in earlier Kirby games, it literally had no use, sleep. It was only an obstacle. But then we have Ball. Ball, which I don't think we have seen before. I'll quickly check. Nope. So we'll read the description of this one. Of course, its name in Japanese, Boru, just like in English, except for the long vowel. Let's check its accent. As usual. Okay, good thing we did, because instead of having the expected accent based on the English one, and so on the bo, it's unaccented. So, boru, ball. Of course, also as in the baseball term ball. With the same pronunciation, we have also bowl. Because of course there isn't such the diphthong O in Japanese, and so O, and then it becomes long. And then it's actually an abbreviation of cardboard, well, board, as in cardboard, baseboard, and so on. Because I guess they heard it with the final D silent, and so it became also boru, all unaccented. As we hear, there's a word usually heard for cardboard, with an additional part before it, tamboru, but we see it when the time comes. So a compound noun, technically. But yeah, we can read the description. Boru ni natte no tayatari kogeki. Boru, we have just seen, I've just mentioned it, ball. Then we have the particle ni, to, or better, as we'll see, in, to, required by the verb, which is natte, from naru. We'll check the accent, but should be accented, to become. To turn into, even better, to remember it, and that explains why it has ni as the particle. So turn into a ball. Of course, here we have to change it into its te form. It's a U verb, coda verb, so we have to follow the rules. Being in ru, it becomes double consonant te. In this case, most likely the vowel fell, and so the remained, and of course it was difficult to pronounce, and so it became simply a double consonant instead. Yes, naru it's accented, by the way. Here the te form is required by default, by the fact that we are adding the no. Usually this it's not how we would construct this, but as we have seen, apparently you can make it, or better, potentially you could make it back then. No, which is the possessive particle. To connect it and modify the following noun, which is tayatari kogeki, compound noun starting with tayatari, which is a compound of its own. We have seen it before. Tai is the Chinese pronunciation of the kanji for body. Atari comes unaccented, comes from the verb ataru, to be hit, to strike. And so we can change it's a U verb, coda verb, we can change the U into I to make the continuative form, here to make the noun, a hit. And so literally, tayatari, accented on the a, because it's a compound, as we have seen often, these compounds are accented on the first syllable of the second part. literally body hit, and so our ramming attack, hurling oneself at, and then we simply add kokeki, which means attack is a Chinese compound. We've seen geki because we have already studied its kanji. So literally it becomes a body hit attack of becoming a ball. As we see, that's exactly what happens. Then we have Ebotan o Ostamamade, Iruto, Jump Ryoku ga Agaru nda. First we have Botan. Botan, as we've already mentioned, seen, is unaccented, means button, is slightly different because it's actually from Portuguese, botão, the A button. Then we have the object particle O, written as wo and pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. Then we have the verb osta, from osu, the typical verb we've seen with botan, with button, because osu, unaccented also, means to push, as also push a button, push the A button, in this case. We change it into its ta form, being verb, Godan verb, we have to follow the rules. Luckily it's easy in this case, being in su, becomes si, and then we add ta, osta. As a reminder, the E between E and U between unvoiced consonants are barely heard, if at all, osta. Ta form, which is the past form of the verb in plain speech. Then we add mama, which is technically a noun, but its meaning becomes as it is, remaining in a state, keeping the same, leaving unchanged, and so also with, for example, one's eyes closed while standing, and so on. And this is our case because it comes after the past form of a verb. Can also mean as one pleases, according to, and so on, but in our case, as I mentioned, with or while. I'd say while in this case, while pressing the A button, or more literally, while the A button, while pressing, as in the A button is kept pressed. Better to keep also the transitive while keeping pressed the A button. Then we have the, which could be technically also the particle, which means with, also a particle used for other uses, but not in this case. But in this specific case, I'd say it's actually the te form of the copula instead. Copula, which is da in plain speech and des in the polite one. As we can see also, then after it, the verb iru, unaccented, which usually means to be of animate objects, to be in the sense of to exist. Also to stay by extension, of course. But in this case, since it comes after the te form of a verb, even though here it's there's a space in between, but I think it's actually this is the correct interpretation. Te form plus iru means can either be the doing form, so a continuing action, or to have done, to be completed, for example, and so on, to be had, ed. So more simply, a continuing state. So either teiru is either a continuing action or a continuing state. In our case, I'd say a continuing state. While being in the state, we have to add it of keeping the A button pressed. Then we add the particle to. In our case, more than a particle is actually a conjunction, because it's in this specific case one of the forms of the conditional. And so if, when, similar to the zero conditional in English, because if something happens with this conditional conjunction, if the action of the first verb happens, then the second one inevitably happens as well. Then we have jampu ryoku. First we have jampu, of course, from English jump. Accented on the ja as expected. By the way, the m in the middle is actually read as m, because of the following pu, which is of the following p, and so bilabial. Jampu. So actually, just like in English. And then we add the suffix ryoku, which means strength, power, proficiency, ability. Strength of the jump. And by the way, I'll check just to be sure, but when you add your ryoku, you should always have the same two a word, as in ryoku as an suffix. It's better seen when you add it to a Chinese compound, technically a Chinese compound of two kanji, and then you add ryoku as the third one. But it should work also in this case with jampu. I take the physical dictionary just to check it. Okay, got the physical dictionary. Should be, I think, before the ryoku, so on the last syllable of the previous word, but we'll check just to be sure. Ryoku. And yes, it's exactly there, before the ryoku. So, on the last syllable of the previous word. So, in our case, Jampu Ryoku. On the pu, and so Ryoku then is low. Can also be heard on its own. The final since the previous consonant is unvoiced. If there's nothing after it, the can be barely heard, if at all. So on its own, Jampuryoku. Also, Jampuryoku. Then we add the subject particle ga. And then we have the verb agaru, which means to rise, literally to go up. We have seen also the verb ageru, unaccented, also like this one, yes, they're both unaccented, and which is the transitive form of the verb. This is the intransitive one. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if, considering that it's in aru, if it were a classical form of the passive, which then, of course, became the intransitive form of the verb. Yes, it means to go up, and so to rise. Then last but not least, we have nda, which is a contracted form of noda. No, which is the nominalizer for the verb, but also fact, similar to koto, thing as in matter, unlike mono, which is a thing as in object. And when we add the copula da, we have this structure no da, here abbreviated as da. Of course, this is in the plain speech. We can also have no des in the polite speech, because we have des, the polite copula. And the translation becomes, because of it being fact, the explanation, the expectation is that, the reason is that, the fact is that, the explanation is that, or even simply, it is that. Just like that. And so we can finally translate this part. If you keep pressed the A button, of course we have to adapt it. Literally, if it stays in the state of keeping pressed the A button, the strength of the jump goes up, increases. Of course, I forgot to mention, if the expectation is that the fact is that the strength of the jump goes up. Okay, we can see the final part. だけど、いつもよりコロコロするの、のは嫌。First we have だけど a conjunction, although, well, its meaning is but, however, although. It's simply a combination of the copula da with kedo. In this case, the combination is accented on the da. Kedo on its own is accented on the kedo. As a reminder, kedo is the part that means but, however, although. On its own, it's an abbreviation of keredomo, rarely heard nowadays. Keredo, more often heard, but the most common one, even though is the most abbreviated one, which is kedo. So, literally, it is that. That is everything that has been said before. It's found at the start of another sentence. But, and then we have itsumo, which means always. It's a an adverb, of course. It's a compound of itsu, which means when, and then we add the particle mo, the inclusive particle, which can mean, when combined with this interrogative words, in our case when, it becomes any, of course, because it's the inclusive particle. Anytime, but just like in English, if used when the verb is affirmative, then it becomes any time, and so always. When used at the with a negative verb, then it becomes the opposite. Never. Literally, not anytime. Like we use with, for example, anyone. There isn't anyone. And so, also the form, there is no one. But yes, keep in mind that when you add mo, you get the any, and then, of course, the your question word, in our case, any time. Better, anyone, anything, and so on. Then we have yori, which is a particle which means then, as in the one with the a, because it's used for comparisons. as we've already mentioned before, as we see soon enough, you don't add a suffix or anything to make the verb in its comparative form, like in English where we have the er suffix or more. You simply put the term of comparison, and so with something yori, and then the adjective. Okay, then we have koro koro, which is an onomatopoeia. Should be so because of that accented on the first syllable, but there are some exceptions. Luckily not this one, koro koro accented on the first one. In our case, it also has other meanings, but the most common one, and the one used here, is lightly rolling of something small, and of course if it's rolling round. Why specifically lightly, and so of something small? Because there's the alternative form with the voiced consonants by adding the dakuten, goro goro, which also has other meanings, but in our case would be the rolling of something large and heavy. And so of course in our case it's lightly rolling because it's of Kirby, which is small. Who's small? Kirby is a small boy. Then we had the verb suru, literally to do. And so literally to do, lightly rolling. It's simply added to make the verb from this onomatopoeia. Suru unaccented, by the way. Then we had no again, and so the nominalizer, the fact of doing the rolling, literally. Then we have the topic particle wa, written as ha. And so as for the fact of rolling, and last but not least, we have the adjective iya. Iya, we check the accent. Should be, as I said, on the last syllable. Yes, it's on the last syllable. As a reminder, of course, it could have been unaccented and without adding anything else, you can tell. But this one is accented on the last syllable. And it means disliking, as more as in the not wanting to do something, be unwilling to do something, to be reluctant, or something that it's unpleasant, disagreeable, and so on. And it's also used as an exclamation to say, no, quit it, stop. But yes, in our case, it's it would be more like the second meaning, so undesirable, unpleasant. So also I'd say by extension bad, even though it's there's a specific word for bad in Japanese, as we'll see. It's an adjective, so technically we should add the copula, da or des, depending on the, or of course conjugated forms of them, depending on the register. But it can also be omitted, like in this case. It's not technically something you should do, but it can be done, and it happens, as we can see here. Bad, but as we have seen, there's the yori, then always. And so I'd say it's worse, because of course it's we have to make the comparison, than always. And so we can translate finally. However, as again, it is that all the things we have said before, but as for doing the rolling, literally, it's worse than always. Okay, we're finally seen the... And so yes, we can turn into a ball. When you simply don't press the button, you roll quite easily. If you press the button, the rolling becomes worse. And even more so if you keep the button pressed, and it's easy to lose control with this ability. As we'll see, it's not the best. Honestly, I want to get rid of it immediately. And luckily we actually have unlocked an arena. So we can do that. We've already seen it. Okay, we have... we immediately lose it to Paxi. Honestly, I gladly do so. Okay, please give us your... Perfect. And so we get backdrop. This one we should have already seen, but I'll quickly check. Yes, we have gotten it. I'll quickly show the description. And so we can leave. Okay, I'd say we can... I'd say we can take the break now. Around 5 minutes as usual. So that we can, when we are back, we start stage 4 and continue from that. If we continue like this, we should most likely will finish level 4 this time, and also start level 5, but I'll see you in around 5 minutes as usual. Let's pass it like this. And we are back. And we can continue playing Kirby's Adventure. And start with stage 4 of level 4. Backdrop as usual, quite useful. You can see some of its of the several throws. I think it mentioned 6. Unfortunately, we missed it. Oh well. We get sword for now. Of course, immediately as I enter the door. Oh well. Oh my. Accidentally try to inhale the Staffy. Wow! The bird pushing me there. Didn't expect this, so that I wasn't able to react in time. Wow. Okay. Let's leave before the birds push me another time. We get the wheel. Already seen it before, but I show it. Pretty funny description. And we have to beat that block that exploded. Oh boy. We didn't make it. And so, unfortunately, we might have lost. Okay, there was one up, but there could be a button. That's the case, we'll come back, of course. We get, this looks like the setup for a mini boss, so we get beam. Always useful. Quickly show the description. We can wait slightly more. We see this mini boss, which I don't think we have seen before, and so we also have the ability to check. I think it's called Rolling Turtle. And funny enough, I'm pretty sure it's exclusive to this game, because it got replaced in the remake of Kirby's Adventure. I don't think it showed up in other Kirby games. Of course, we got defeated. Spark, I'd say it's too dangerous because you want to keep Rolling Turtle at a distance, but of course you have to be careful. Close enough, and also strike when doesn't roll against you. We lost the power, so we'll have to get those rocks. Also, there was maybe a star there, but we missed it. Okay, the rock, perfect. Please throw more rocks. Perfect. One more and we'll defeat Rolling Turtle. By the way, forgot to mention, I think that I called Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright the wrong way, because Mr. Shine is the sun, while Mr. Bright is the moon. Honestly makes more sense. So well, of course we might see them again. Okay, we got throw. So we'll actually have to check it. Throw, and so in Japanese it becomes surou. Notice, well, of course, su instead of th, because the th sound doesn't exist in Japanese. And then we also have ro, u, instead of ro with the long vowel, because in this case they want to mimic the o sound from English, and so o, u. As a reminder, in actually Japanese words, strictly Japanese ones, and those of Chinese origin, the combination o, u is read as long o. But yeah, surou, throw. We can start reading the description. Teki o suikomi tsukamaete omoikiri horinageyo. First we have teki. We've even studied its kanji, means enemy, as in also rival, opponent, but in this case enemy, of course, in the context of Kirby games, and most video games, honestly. Then we have the object particle o. Then we have a compound verb in its nominal form, suikomi. Sui, we've already seen it, comes from su, which means to breathe in, to inhale, unaccented, also to smoke when used with tobacco and so on, cigarettes. Then we have komu. On its own can mean to be crowded, to be packed. Also with another kanji instead of the one which we would use in this case. But in when as used as the second verb of a compound, it has several meanings. In our case, literally to go into, to go in, to put into. And so suikomu, actually accented, just like komu, means literally to breathe in, to inhale. The komu shows that you are putting into. Then we change it's a u verb colon verb. We can change the u into i to make the continuative form. In our case, I'd say to actually make with the meaning and, but we'll see with the rest of the sentence. I'd say that because we immediately after it we have another verb, tsukamaete, which means to catch, to capture, of course other extended meanings, to grab. By extension. But yes, the fundamental meaning is to catch. Let's check its accent. Okay, unaccented. Kamairu. Being a ru verb, ichidan verb, we can drop the ru to and add te to make the te form. In this case, I'd say buy. it could also be another way to make the first verb, the one in te, and then end the rest of the sentence, but in this case I'd say by doing is a better translation, but we'll see with the rest, of course. Then we have omoi kiri, which comes from omoi kiri, the additional doubling of the consonant makes it more emphatic, I'd say, but the meaning stays the same. Technically, also a compound, a noun from a compound verb. In our case, in this case, we have omou, which means to think. Also by extension, to think of doing. By further extension, to expect, to think as in then to imagine, to suppose, to dream, but also to expect, to look forward to. And also to desire, to want. The fundamental meaning is to think, but as we see, then we get those extended meanings, and it applies to this one. Then we have kiri. Well, of course, first it's a omou accented, is u verb, godan verb. We can change the u into i to make the continuative form. In this case, required to make the compound verb. Then we have kiri from kiru. In this case, it's a different kiru from the one we have already studied. We can study the kanji. That one is unaccented kiru, and it's a ru verb, ichidan verb, means to wear, as a reminder, from the shoulders down. There are other verbs which mean put on, but for other parts of the body. We'll see them eventually. This one is kiru, accented, and more importantly, it's a u verb, godan verb, and that's why we will then get kiri. Its meaning on its own means to cut. Also used as in to turn off the light. Quite useful to remember. Literally, as if you were to cut, if you cut off the light, so turn off the light. Of course, other extended meanings, but what interests us is that when used as the second verb of a compound verb, it gets the meaning to do completely or to be completely, depending of course on the meaning of the main verb. So the meaning completely, we could say to the end, because to the end, to exhaustion, and so then it is connected because of that to the fundamental meaning to cut. As I mentioned, it's a U verb codant verb, so we can change the U into I to make the noun, corresponding noun, which in this case it's okay, it's regular, so it's accented on the last syllable, kiri. Which actually on its own it has actually several meanings, but one of the most common ones is end, as in end, finish, as in end as a bound, limit, and so on, because again of that meaning also seen in our case, extended meaning. But yes, so omoikiri, which be careful because it becomes unaccented, despite actually the compound verb omoikiru being accented. This form, technically a noun, but it becomes an adverb in this case, is unaccented irregularly, so be careful. By the way, omoikiru as a verb means to give up all thoughts of, but also to make up one's mind. In one case, kiru as in cutting off, literally, and so giving up, cutting off thoughts. The other one, doing completely, and so thinking completely to make up one's mind. But in our case of this adverb, which is actually the continuative form of the verb, omoikiri, here with the doubling, emphatic, means to one's heart's content, as much as one wants. And so again we see the meaning of kiri, of kiru, as the second verb of a compound, to do completely, to be completely, and then omo, in this case as to think, by extension becomes to desire. And so we have our translation of this part, and then last but not least we have our main verb, which is hori nageyo. Of course, again, actually a compound verb from horu, which means to throw, to fling, and so by extension, as we'll see, because it's also used in a certain expression, to neglect, to abandon, to leave alone, to give up on, as in by extension throwing away, maybe that's why it becomes like that. Horu is unaccented. Here, of course, it's in its meaning to literal meaning to throw, we change it's a U verb code verb, so we can change the U into I to make the continuative form to attach the second verb of the compound, which is nageru, accented, and also means to throw, to hurl, to fling, and funny enough, by extension, also to give up, to abandon, to throw away. Okay, same. To throw away, literally. So that's why. And honestly, nageru is the more common one of the two, but technically both exist. And so yes, we get this compound verb, also accented just like nageru, luckily, which simply means to throw. Both verbs have that meaning, and so it simply has the same meaning, and so also the extended meaning of to abandon, to give up. They simply, for emphasis, the combination of the two verbs strengthens the meaning. Of course, in this case, we can, it's just like nageru on its own, it's a ru verb, ichidan verb, so we can drop the ru and add yo, u, so long yo, to make the evolutional form in its most common meaning, which is let's. And so we can translate this part by inhaling and catching the enemy. Let's throw it as much as we want. Can also be omoikiri with all one's strength, and so it can also be in that sense. Then we have poi poi nage tobashite hoka no teki mo makikonde shimao. First we have another onomatopoeia, poi poi. We'll check its accent, but its meaning is simply tossing. It's literally simply the sound that tossing makes in Japanese. I can find it on in the dictionary here. I'll see if I can find it in the physical one. Luckily, I kept it on the side, so I already have it here. If we can't find it, I'd say yeah, no, I don't see it, so I'd say most likely it's accented on the first syllable, like most onomatopoeias, but of course we don't have confirmation. Then we have nage tobashite, again a compound verb. The first part we have already seen, nage from nageru, to throw. And so it's a ru verb, it's an verb, so we can drop the ru to make the continuative form, and so attach the second part of the verb, the second verb of this compound. Tobasu, which should be an accent, yes. We have seen it before, which means to make fly, to let fly, to send flying. literally, it's technically the transitive form of the verb tobu, which means to fly. But as you can see, with this a-su combination, it's most certainly a classical form of the causative, which has the meaning to make fly, and so technically the transitive form of the verb. So literally, to throw and make fly, send flying, and so to fling away, to hurl. By the way, it's nagetobasu. Here it says it's accented, despite, as we have seen, tobasu being unaccented, so be careful. Then we can change it. We have to change it into its the form. Again, it's a verb code verb, so we have to follow the rules. Luckily in su, so it's easy. Simply change it into si, su into si, and add te, nagetobaste, by in this case, or also and, you see, with the rest of the sentence. Then we have hoka. We've seen it before. On its own, it's a noun which means another place. But when used with the particle no, it technically becomes an adjective, even though it should stay as a noun. But in its meaning, it definitely is more like an adjective, which means with the meaning another of that the following noun. In our case, teki, so another enemy. Then we have the inclusive particle mo, so also, even, another enemy, other enemies also, because of course we don't need to specify the plural, and the word can mean either, can be used for the singular or the plural. Anyway, there are ways to specify the plural when we want to, but we've already seen them, some of them. So also other enemies, let's say, both in general and also because you can actually involve more than one enemy. And I've anticipated the meaning of the following verb, which is makikonde shimao, but the fundamental verb is makikonde, again another compound verb. First we have maku, which on its own is to roll. Also to envelope. By the way, unaccented maku. To roll as in to coil. Then we have komu again. And by the way, unaccented, but as in this case we make we can change it's a u verb code verb. We can change the u into i to make the continuative form of the verb. Here used to attach the second verb of the compound, but could also be used to make the corresponding noun, which is actually has the accent on the ma maki. It's irregular, which means roll, fundamental meaning, for example, of cloth. The winding of a watch, for example. But because it means roll, it becomes by extension the volume of a book, because let's not forget, books used to be in scrolls in China and so Japan, and so volume also of a book, the meanings. But yes, the fundamental meaning to roll, to wind. And then we have again komu. In this case, I'd say it stays figuratively in this case, with its meaning when added as the second part of a compound verb, to go into, to go in, to put into. Because the fundamental meaning of makikomu is accented, by the way, so luckily just like komu, is to roll up, to enfold, to swallow up, and that's there we can swallow up, and so we can see that the going into, putting into of the komu, to roll up the fundamental meaning, but by extension it becomes to involve, to drag into, which is our meaning in this case. Then we can change it, we have to change it into its type form. Being a U verb because I'm verb, we have to follow the rules. Being in mu means that it becomes de, because as a reminder, in Japanese, in the past, we are talking classical Japanese here, the syllables that are nowadays simply voiced, and so with the duck 10, were also prenasalized, and so nde, the one written as de, would be nde. And so, of course, if you reduce the mu, we drop the consonant, the vowel, and remains a nasal consonant, and then it becomes, of course, that's why we get the de instead of te. And also the reason why it's not used as the te form of mu and nu, but also of bu, because technically it would be mbu, and so nde. But yes, in this case we make the te form to then add the auxiliary verb shimau. To finish, on its own also, and so also as the auxiliary verb after the form of a verb, to finish as in to do completely. Here it could also be in its other meaning of the when used as the auxiliary verb after the form of a verb, to do accidentally, to do without meaning to happen to do, because by extension, to end up doing something. And yes, this is most likely the case in our case. And so we can finally translate by throwing away, by flinging away. Here literally will be with a poi poi, with the sound of throwing away, of throwing. Of course we wouldn't translate it in English. And sorry, forgot to mention that it's Shimau, it's a U verb colon verb, so we can change the U into OU, so long O, to make the evolutional form, and so again, let's. By throwing away, again, the enemy you inhaled and caught. Let's end up involving also even other enemies. And yes, there we have our translation of throw. So you get an enemy, in our case a block, and then you throw it away and try to hit other enemies or blocks in our case. So similar to backdrop, but here it's strictly throwing away, as you can see. And we actually finished the stage finally. Okay. Fortunately got only 500. Okay. Okay, we should be able to tackle. Luckily this stage is finished and completed. And so we can tackle stage 5. But first, let's actually do a little something quickly, just to be sure. Because I'm afraid... Okay, no, we should be fine. I was afraid we could miss the title, but I don't think we'll get a high enough percentage with the remaining parts. Although, just to be completely sure, I'll take a screenshot. We'll check, of course, at the end when I quickly exit and re-enter, close the game and reopen it to restart it to see what our percentage currently is, and so if also it has saved, but it should. Okay, we can tackle stage 5. Unfortunately, by doing that, I missed the ability, even though, to be honest, we don't need it, as we got the invincible candy here, and honestly, I'd rather get other abilities later instead of throw. Not spark, because I defeated the enemy by jumping into it. Okay, I wonder which one is the correct... maybe it was the other door then. We'll see. Okay, let's get sword. Okay, we have to defeat Meta Knight's minions. Unfortunately, honestly, simply nailing them, of course if you don't get hit, it's easier. And yeah, with did it. You get burning and use it immediately to avoid getting hit. Fortunately, too early, and so also I should have left that hole. Unfortunately, goodbye ability. Okay, we get spark. These almost look like potential places, but doors, but it actually wasn't. I lost all these Gordos. Yeah, here, if we kept burning, it would have been quite useful, honestly. But we made it to the end of the stage anyway. A definitely not good jump there, but oh well. Okay, we actually have finished and completed this stage, didn't expect it. And we actually have one more. So we'll tackle it. Stage 6. We don't want to get hurt anyway. I definitely want a sword here. Because as you see, in a second, if I can get it and keep it. There are some abilities, few of them, that you can actually use when also in the water. Like, and sword is one of them. So we got our item. Okay, there was something there at the top. Not sure what. Well, we get rid of it as we're getting Mike. Pretty sure we have already seen its description, but of course I'll still show it. Yeah, I am pretty sure also because we unfortunately lost it and so couldn't use the final stage. Fortunately, since we get a dark room, well, I use it anyway, so we have at least seen it. I guess we are getting light, of course, to turn the lights on, and we have seen it before. Oops, sorry, it didn't show the description, so that you could pause, but oh well. Luckily it was a pretty recent one, so oh boy. Well, I fell into the hole, so we'll actually get it back, so I'll do that. Oh wow, got all of them at once. So yes, I'll open it so you can check it again if you want by pausing. Okay, this will simplify because it's not the best, that spot. Actually wonder if there was a secret here. I simply missed it or not. Oh well, we'll see. Ah, okay, this is where you get from there. Okay, makes sense. Okay, here we can use stone, which we got before, to hit these pegs. And actually I made okay, no, I think yeah, you have to hit them in the correct order, otherwise you don't get the 1-up, because it rises, then it rises again, so you get it. I wanted a high jump, but unfortunately missed it. Let's get the energy drink and finish the stage. Okay, much better. Yeah, not perfect, but we still got first. So I went up, and also a Kirby dance. Nice. Okay, as you can see, we've actually finished it, but not completed it, so we go back in. Okay. Let's see. I'd say if the secret should be in... not in this room, but in the dark one. I seemed to recall that there was something like that, but didn't remember where, so of course missed it. Maybe you even have to go back slightly. We'll see. Yeah, here nothing. Up there it's there, of course. Quickly the mini boss, mid boss. Let's quickly get light. Okay, perfect. We'll use it. And actually I'll go back. These are parts of the environment. Ah, yes, here is the door, the hidden door, yes. And here's our button, so we can complete the stage. Actually, we have simply unlocked that, which I'll show it again, even though we have already seen it. We have seen that luckily we can immediately leave. Yeah, the place of departure and arrival, literally, of warp stars, and so warp star station in English. Yeah, simply to go back to previous levels. Not particularly needed, but still nice to have. And so we can actually tackle the boss of level 4 and so finish it. Boss who is Greco Jr. No, as we'll see soon enough, but in this phase it is Greco Jr. and we have to simply go up. If we waited, I'm pretty sure that it would destroy the platforms, the clouds, so we are not sticking around. There it quickly went up because this is the end of the phase, and now we get actual Greco. Luckily we have high jump, which is quite useful to attack it. Classic Kirby boss, one of the most common ones, of course, apart from Wispy Wood, who's the most common one. Funny enough, I've played this boss quite a lot for in NES championships, so relatively recently. Of course, that doesn't mean I'm still good at it, and of course to defeat Greco quickly it requires some practice and also luck. But yes, we get our piece of Star Rod. Korea on the bottom right corner. Our Kirby dance. And so we start level 5. Yogurt Yard. You can see the animation. The funny animation. And since we have some time, we actually start it. Tackle at least stage 1. And that's why I wanted to be cautious, took the screenshot in case our percentage is too high and we miss a title, even though I don't think that will be the case. Okay, there's the door there at the bottom, and we definitely want to check that. As you can see, now, well, in this case it's simply a 1-up, but it's there are way more often buttons to push to actually complete levels instead of just finishing them. Okay, we're falling. What a disappointment, because we didn't get anything. Any copy ability. Freeze we should have already seen, but funny enough we got freeze before ice, and burning before fire, despite that the latter in both cases are the ones that nowadays include both abilities. Okay, let's see. Okay, perfect. It was simply enemies all around. And we technically have already finished the stage. We'll see if also completed. Not a good jump there. Yeah, no, we haven't completed it, so we'll go back in. I wonder if I had to destroy those blocks. Well, because of course we quickly check what where that the door, not the one that I think has the secret, which is that one, leads to. But yeah, most likely we'll have to go back there and simply. Ah, okay, it brings you here immediately. But I don't think that the secret is the one with stone. We'll see. Okay, I'll actually get a sword if I can keep it. We try destroying these blocks. Ah, okay, yeah, it was that was that's the trick, of course. You don't have to destroy too many blocks after that, because then you do fall. Yeah, that's the trick they're pulling here. And they got us because I forgot about it. But at least we quickly figured it out second time. The clue, I'd say, is that there's if you well, of course, because there aren't blocks up to the bottom, the shot, so if you destroy it, then you see that it stays on screen, and so yeah. Those are your clues. I'd say the door is to the left then. You have to be careful to not make the mistake again. Yes, it's here. And yeah, we get the button. Okay, so we unlock a mini game. Let's get our energy drink. We can leave the stage. Yes, it's completed. We'll play the mini game. Then we might be able to tackle also stage 2. Ah, we also have already the museum. We'll check that in a second, but first the mini game. Crane fever again. We're aiming for the big Kirby dolls as usual. Oh boy. Okay. Was worried by its moving that was about to fall, but luckily it didn't. Okay. Yeah, this one fell. Okay, so 2 1-ups. 2 ups. Okay. Let's quickly check the museum. Okay, we actually have the ability here, so we'll check that now. And so I doubt we'll have time to tackle another stage, but at least we've started level 5. But yeah, since it's here, it's better to check it out now. Tornado. And so, also in Japanese, Torneido. As a reminder, usually E in Japanese, it's E, long E. Some still pronounce it as E. But, of course, in katakana, we would usually have the long vowel mark. So in this case, again, it's Torneido to mimic the A sound in English. We check if it's also in the dictionary. To see, of course, if we can see its accent. Okay, it's actually... by the way, here they wanted to mimic that, but it can be found, and most often you'll find it that way, as Torneido with the long vowel mark, and so long E. But either way, it's accented as expected on the Ne, Tornado. Let's start its description. Kuru Kuru Mawaru Tatsumaki Kogeki. First we have an onomatopoeia. Kuru Kuru. Which is an onomatopoeia, which means whirling, revolving, spinning, going round and round. Also other extended meanings related to that, but they don't matter for us at the moment. Accented on the first syllable as expected, as usual for most onomatopoeias. And also in this case we could also make a form with the voice consonant. And so with the Dakuten, Guru Guru, which becomes turning round and round in circles. Of course, again, it's the voiced consonants adding the Dakuten makes the action represented by the onomatopoeia more intense. And by the way, Guru Guru is found in the title of an anime. It's I think it's actually translated as such in the Guru Guru is kept, also in English. I'll quickly check. Yes, it's that. Mahojin Guru Guru, which is literally magical circle Guru Guru, and so spinning round and round because of the spinning of the magical circle. And yeah, that's that. Then we have the verb mawaru. We checked its accent, but it means to turn, to rotate, to revolve, to spin. And so, of course, by extension, to go around, to circle, to revolve around. other extended meanings. And it's the to turn, to rotate, to revolve, to spin, the intransitive form. It's unaccented, okay, as I thought. The transitive one is mawa su. Again, that su and the a su combination could be another form of the classical form of the causative, or simply su from suru, to do. Even though they're related. Yes, that's we have the verb here, and so it's actually relative clause, a verb in a attributive position, and so that modifies the following noun, which is Tatsumaki Kogeki, compound from Tatsumaki by the way, the compound is unaccented, okay. Which literally comes from tatsu, unaccented on its, which means dragon, especially a Chinese dragon. You'll more often than not hear it in its with its Chinese pronunciation, Ryu, instead accented, but it can sometimes be found like in this compound. And then of course we have Maki, which on its own we have already seen it, comes from Maku, unaccented, the verb, which means to wind, to roll. Then we have we change the U into I to make the continuative form, and so the corresponding noun, but it's an exception because it's accented in this case, most likely because it became a word of its own. And so in our case, let's say winding, literally winding of a dragon. And so we have Tatsumaki, winding of a dragon, and so a tornado, a whirlwind, and so on, fundamentally. And then of course we simply add again Kogeki, attack. And so a tornado, whirlwind, attack that spins, rotates, twists, around, round and round. Then we have the rest of this description. Pivot no oshita mama ni suru to kaiten shinagara sora o toberu zo. First we have B button, the B button, O, the object particle. Then again oshita mama ni, oshita mama, then we see the ni, why it's added. Again osu, to press, unaccented, we change it into its sta form, su, so sta, osta, past form. Then we had mama, so keep pressed, literal would be leave it as is, pressed, keep pressed, the B button. Then we have the particle ni, which is required by suru. Suru, which usually means to do, as we already mentioned. But when used with ni, it can be used to... it has various meanings. All related in more or less to make. For example, we have if there were an object also, to make that object, well, the object here is for osu, so it's not related, but in that case would be to make that object into into what's marked by ni. To make use of that object for what's marked by ni. Ni suru is also used to decide, with the meaning to decide on, to choose. So let's say in this case, if you choose, well, of course then we have to, as in, again, if, when. So if you choose to keep the B button pressed, then we have kaiten, which is a Chinese compound, a noun on its own, which unaccented, by the way, which means rotation, revolution, turn, spin. Then we had the verb suru, here in its shi nagara form, literally to do a rotation, to do a revolution, a turn, a spin. So to rotate, to turn, to spin. We then turn suru into its continuative form, which is shi. Suru is completely irregular, so we simply have to remember it. In this case, it's kind of like if it were ru verb, ichidan verb, but well, sorry, more like u verb, godan verb, so u becomes I, but then of course we also have the drop of the suru, which isn't typical of u verb, godan verb. So it's typical of ru verb, ichidan verbs, and that's why suru is irregular. But yes, suru becomes shi, its continuative form, required here by the nagara, which means it's a conjunction, which means while. While literally doing rotations, spins, while spinning. Then we have sora. Actually, it should be accented on the first syllable, I think, so sora. We'll check, but its meaning is sky, the air, yes, it's accented on the first syllable, so sora. Then we have the object o, the object particle o. Then we have the verb toberu, from tobu. I've already mentioned it, which means well, sorry. Okay, perfect. Tobu which usually is intransitive, means to fly, to soar, but actually can also be used with an object, objects which usually are like in this case, for example, simply the sky, the air. Then we can, it's a U verb colon verb, so we can change the U into E and add RU to make the potential form of the verb, and so can fly, can soar the skies. Last but not least, we have so, a particle which adds force or indicates command, and it's a male term or language. Here I'd say it adds simply force, and so we can translate it. If you choose to keep the button B pressed, to keep on pressing the button B, you, implied, can fly, can soar the skies while spinning. And yes, that's the peculiarity of Tornado, which we can see here. If I press it just once, we fall to the ground and simply spin there. If I keep it pressed, you fly. And with that, we have to end the stream here. Next time we'll tackle stage 2 and continue from there. Of course, first I'll check if it has saved, and also if our percentage. Good thing I've taken the screenshot, because as you can see, we actually have a high enough percentage high enough so that we got new titles. So next time we'll also check both the new titles, and then of course tackle stage 2 of level 5 and continue from there. Okay, let's close the game. And unless plans change, it should be the next stream of this series on Wednesday as usual. And that's it. Okay. See you next time.